I don't know what's wrong with us, and I'm not trying to make any excuse for us as a people, but something is in the water in Jamaica. Yeah. Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Somebody said this morning, SouFlo, please talk about the elderly couple where the wife ended up killing the husband over some property or stuff like that, a will arrangement or something. I said I would go do my due diligence and look up proper information and then come across with my own opinion based on the facts or what was released to us. So, no long talking. Our article was printed in many of the Jamaica news outlets. So, there was an article in The Star, Loop, Gleaner, all of them. But I gathered up and put some information together. This is what I have gathered so far. The headline says, elderly housewife confesses to killing her husband with a hammer. A hammer. Boy, here are the details, right? The St. Elizabeth police has now charged a 73-year-old housewife from Cabbage Valley District in the parish with the murder of her husband. First of all, let me say something, right? 73 years old. You're going to commit murder at 73 and kill your husband at 73? I mean, it's a blatant murder, so if they give her a life sentence at 73, I mean, you don't have much further left to go at 73. I don't know anybody on the face of the earth that got 73 years times 2, which means you are on the downhill side of life, my friend. But let's finish with the information that was put out first, then we can give our opinion. So, Enid Townsend is her name. She reportedly actually confessed to using a hammer to strike her husband, 74-year-old farmer Arthur Townsend, multiple times. It is said that they are both farmers from the district, and her husband sometimes also is a pastor. I don't know how true that part is. I gathered that information from another news outlet. But what they all have in common, it says that they are both farmers, right? The incident occurred on Saturday about 4 a.m. 4 a.m. in the early wee hours of the morning on a Saturday morning. I don't know, maybe I have life planned out differently, and I'm far away from 74, 75 or my 70s, but I guarantee you, when I hit that age, on a Saturday morning, I will definitely be sleeping in at 4 a.m. But boy, we have to take serious thing, make jokes still. So the police says that the alleged confession revealed that the incident arose from a dispute stemming from Townsend's late husband taking her name out of or putting a will together and not putting her name in the will. So the man was actually making preparations, right? Him say, we reached 70 odd years old right now. He was only 1 year older than she was. So shout out to the people them who said you must marry somebody close to your age. He was only a year older than she was, so they were pretty much the same age. Anyhow, he was putting a will together, a will and testament, last will, which a lot of our people failed to do. That is why we have a bunch of family members fighting over deadlift and killing each other over deadlift all the time. Because the elders who passed away refused to put a will together. Them said, no man, it's everybody piece of land. My grandparents did the same thing. I said, Grandma, don't leave your things just like this. I know it's hard to talk about, and it was very touchy for me to talk to my grandmother about this, because I didn't want to feel like, I'm the person who is waiting on her to die so I can get something. But I had to come around to it and find a way to say to her, Grandma, don't leave you and Grandpa affairs unhandled. Make sure it says it on pen and paper. chop up and divide up the land so everybody knows who gets what, right? My grandmother said, no, son, not doing no paperwork at all. First come, first serve. So, you know, you can imagine what's going on right now. All right. So these are the situations that lead to people losing their life. So all this man was trying to do now, he was just trying to put a will and testament together. So in the case anything happens to him and his wife, his 73-year-old wife and his 74-year-old self, that, you know, the proper people get the things that they're supposed to get, so on and so forth. And your hard-earned properties and whatever else does not end up in the hands of strangers, because that's what usually happens when there's no will. Eventually your land, your house, whatever else you have, or it even ends up in the hands of people who you didn't like and them didn't like you, right? So that's a warning to get all your affairs together. Anyhow, back to the story. There he was, 4 o'clock in the morning, putting a will and testament together. Him wife said, let me have a look at the will and testament. She read through it and she realized that her name was nowhere in it. She said, but wait, me and your wife from when? Why you a leave will and my name not upon it? So if anything happened to you now, me in my old age, left with nothing. An argument developed. Right. She confessed that an argument developed. The police says that the alleged confession revealed that the incident arose from the dispute stemming from her husband trying to put a will together and leaving her name out of it. She said that the disagreement escalated, turned into a heated argument, resulting in her husband allegedly slapping her in the face. Now, that man is not around to tell his side of the story. That man catch a hammer and he is dead, right? So, matter of fact, it wasn't just a hammer. It's not like so she lick him one time. According to the report, he was struck multiple times, right? So, I mean, I just can't picture at 73 years old, you beating your 74-year-old husband to death with a hammer over one slap. Not saying that it's wrong or right. Either way, he shouldn't have put his hands on her if that's what he did. I don't believe in domestic violence. I don't believe the woman should be hitting the man. I don't believe the man should be hitting the woman. I don't believe anybody should be getting beaten by anybody. But in the event that it did happen, and it was a one slap, you're telling me, sir, the only next thing you could think of was to beat your husband to death with a hammer? I think she was more upset that her name wasn't on that will, right? And without a will, think with me, you know. You have to think with me. So, had he put a will together and her name wasn't on it and he passed away, she would have been pretty much up shit's creek without a paddle. But in the event that he did pass away and no will, she would naturally be the person who inherited everything else. The only problem here is she can't murder the man and then inherit everything. So the disagreement escalated. She is now claiming self-defense. She said he slapped her and she beat him to death with a hammer, and that is the story. She is slated to appear in the St. Elizabeth Parish Court on Thursday. Today I'm giving this story to you is Wednesday. She is slated, I call him dead, so it's she. She is slated to appear in court tomorrow, right? Acting Superintendent Colbridge Minto, the head of the St. Elizabeth Police Division, expressed deep concerns regarding the increase in interpersonal conflict and domestic violence cases in the parish. Taken from the Jamaica Gleaner, he revealed that the division has recorded 20 murders since the beginning of the year, just in that era, with 50%, meaning 10 of those, being attributed to interpersonal conflicts or domestic violence. Murders, you know. domestic violence murders. My God. Superintendent Minto urged residents facing disputes or conflicts to seek some professional assistance, man, through the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Domestic Violence Intervention Center or the Ministry of Justice Restorative Justice Center located in Santa Cruz in St. Elizabeth. Let me pass this information out again. Superintendent Minto is urging the people them from this area in St. Elizabeth, before you go killing off your spouse, seek some help. Those of you who are facing disputes or conflicts, seek some professional assistance through the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Domestic Violence Intervention Center or the Ministry of Justice Restorative Justice Center located in Santa Cruz in St. Elizabeth. There is actually help out there for you, but you have to go and get the help. Why? It's a sad case. You know, I talk about this all the time, right? For one, I would not want to be 74 years old getting beat to death with a hammer by my 73-year-old wife. And, you know, it's all over her feeling like she was disrespected. I don't know how long they were married for. I'm pretty sure that's one of the first questions that my intelligence audience members are going to ask, because that's the first question I asked. How long were they married for? Because if them did just get married in an old age there, then, you know, that might not justify what she did. But if this woman has given her life to this man, and them have children and grandchildren, and they've been together some 30, 40, 50 years, then I can see the anger and resentment for him to feel like she has dedicated her whole life to him pretty much, and this is how he repays her, by writing a will and then leaving her out of the will. I know a lot of people are going to say, man, 73 years old, you're older, but you're not that old. You still can have a lot more years left. And those are the years that you're actually going to need a lot of help, actually. You don't want to be financially destitute at 75, 74, 73. Because it's not like anybody out there is rushing to hire a 73-year-old woman. Say, God forbid, something was to happen. Well, God already forbade, but something already happened to him. 74 years old, trying to get a job, because you have to pay the bills. First of all, your mind might be willing, but your body is definitely going to be weak, right? And nobody is out here jumping up. No companies or employers are jumping up and saying, send me the 70-year-olds and the 74-year-olds first. So that's the age group where you want to have some kind of security, man. You want to know, say, if something happened to you, you get sick, you can go to hospital and go get proper doctor care, or you can go to the private doctor and get some care. Or when your health starts to fade or you start to get weak, you want to age in place. You want to age in your home. You want to know that you can bring in a helper or some home health care attendant what can help you move around your property and these kind of things. You don't want to know that your husband left everything to somebody else and now you're stuck out here by yourself. So I can understand her anger, but to beat him with a hammer though, and I don't know if somebody told her to say, hey, you had to defend yourself. You didn't beat him with the hammer because of your name not being in the will. You beat him with the hammer because him slap you in your face and you're not taking no beating from no man, so you defended yourself. If that is the case, then don't look for her to spend much time behind bars. But of course, we will see how this goes. It's a sad story all around, right? A sad story all around. But we'll continue to follow this story. So leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this story. And again, a warning to all of us. make sure, especially the big people them, but it's important for young people too, because you don't know what might take you in life, and you don't know, you might be here this minute and gone the next minute, and all your little assets end up in somebody else's hand, and nobody is there to take care of your children, or your assets don't go to who you wanted them to go to. So it's wise to always have a will. You can have a living will, as well as you can have your final will and testament. Go speak to an attorney, or not even an attorney, but go speak to some legal profession who can help you to formulate a will. Alright? I'll catch y'all on the next video. It's SouFLoTV, and you already know. I'm out. Peace.